Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you an informal book review of Niccolò Machiavelli's The Prince. Now, if you're looking for something in-depth, academic, or scholarly, this is not going to be the video for you. I'm just going to be sharing my thoughts upon having reread this book after, 4 years. And honestly, just gonna be really informal about it. But I did that community poll on my community tab, and less than half of you had read it. About a third of you had not even heard of it before. So I thought it's probably worth just saying a few words about it and letting you know if it's something you might be interested in. Now, so who was Machiavelli, and why is this book a classic? This book, The Prince, was written, or rather published in the early 1500s. That's 1532 on Wikipedia. And the author is this nobleman from Florence. Keep in mind that Italy at the time of this writing was not unified. They were, different states. They were divided up into different states. So this guy is writing to this prince and giving him some advice about how to be a good ruler. Now, as far as what that means in this book, the reason the prince has become very famous and why Machiavelli has become sort of a byword for realpolitik is because his version of being a good ruler is really about preserving power and about doing what is expedient versus what is always what we would consider to be ethical or virtuous. Now, the prince, or rather this nobleman who's writing, Machiavelli, he doesn't ignore the concepts of virtue and honor. It's just that he views them as more fluid things. So a lot of his advice is going to be along the lines of, you should do what is going to keep you in power. You should be kind of expecting your friends and allies to, effectively let you down and planning for those contingencies. You should not be afraid to be cruel or to do things considered to be evil as long as it keeps you in power and helps you outmaneuver other people. That's a very elevator pitch summary of this book. In reality, the book is, 26 chapters, and each one is focused on different themes related to this advice. According to Wikipedia, this style of book is the Mirrors for Princes style, which I'd never heard of before, but apparently it wasn't uncommon for people to write these kinds of manuals for rulers kind of guides. And the word mirrors being you'd show examples of rulers to this young ruler, telling him, you should imitate these people or you should not imitate these other people. So naturally in this book, he highlights various examples from different nations, or rather states. So he'll give examples from the Borgias. He'll give examples from the kings of France, and just kind of run down different issues and how the young prince should, approach these different issues. Just to give you some examples, the different kinds of militia and mercenary soldiers. So one of his things he really hammers down is that you should use your own soldiers. You shouldn't be using mercenaries. Of cruelty and clemency, and whether it is better to be loved or feared. And Machiavelli says he thinks it's best that you ought to be feared, because men love at their own free will, but fear at the will of the prince, and that a wise prince must rely on what is in his power and not on what is in the power of others, and he must only contrive to avoid incurring hatred, as has been explained. So interestingly, it's not like he doesn't observe any standard of, I guess, I don't know if morality is the word, but you know, his sliding scale is very much tipped towards expediency, and a lot of the advice he's giving would be considered to us as to be quite, turning this prince into someone rather horrid. Interestingly enough, this book has a strange legacy. At least I consider it to be a bit strange. It was apparently it was like widely published, but there's a bit of, in my opinion, gray area about its influence. I don't think there's any doubt that it's been influential since it was published, but just kind of looking into some of these supposed influences, it's not always clear whether he directly influenced someone or whether his ideas were just sort of permeating in the political mindset of people who study these things. For example, I was trying to track down whether Napoleon had actually wrote commentary to this book as Wikipedia claims, and I couldn't find a decisive answer to that. And in fact, one going really down a rabbit trail, one Ask Metafilter discussion suggested that had been made up, like someone had just made up that connection as a way to discredit, I guess, Napoleon or somebody. So I don't know. I'm taking some of these things with a grain of salt, but it's no doubt that certain people were directly influenced by the prince. For example, Mussolini wrote a discourse on the prince, Mussolini of Italy, and we know what kind of leader he was. So, I would say that this book is important to read. It's not going to be like a page turner, at least it's never been one for me. Nor is it like something you should necessarily follow, but what it can help you with is understanding tactics of people that, are not going to be following a strict moral code, but rather doing whatever it is they need to do to stay in power, such as we have seen a lot in the 20th century and today as well. I mean, again, it's not exactly a page turner, so you could just as soon watch a video or commentary about it and probably get the same ideas. I don't know. One thing I did like about the book is it kind of inspired me to want to read more about the people he's citing. So, for example, he continuously gives examples from the Borgia family, especially Caesar, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, Caesar Borgia is a character that he brings up a lot. And I actually haven't done much reading on that family, that ruling family. So, that's something that I've now added to my reading list because I think that would be very, very insightful. But yeah, that's The Prince. Let me know if you've read it, if you've gotten more takeaways from it than I have. Am I going to read it a third time in the future? Probably not. I feel like I've, distilled what I can from this. I don't know. Again, the inspiration to read further on the people he mentions has been my biggest takeaway this time, but otherwise it was very much a sleep-inducing book. So there's your introduction to The Prince. Let me know if you have read it or decide to read it, and I will see you next time. Bye.